and welcome into another edition of The Final Drive here on DMVSTREAM.com. I'm Jeremy Huber coming to you on a Halloween night, not dressed up in a costume, but ready to get you up to date on a crazy night of high school football in the DMV area. Some upsets in the top 20, some crazy scores, some other things that as the teams push towards the playoffs will be influential. We'll get you up to date on all of it as the show goes by. Also, we'll catch up with a few coaches with big wins tonight. We'll do all that on the show. Let's run it down for you right now, exactly what we got for you. Remember, if you want to tweet us, you want to let us know a score, if you want to let us know what's going on, what you saw at a game tonight, go ahead and do it. At DMV Stream, hashtag it with DMV Final Drive. That's at DMV Stream, hashtag DMV Final Drive. That's the way to get in touch with us if you want to talk about a game. You want to brag on your team tonight. There's a lot of games worth bragging about. They're all out there tonight. Later on in the show, we will hear from at least two coaches. We will hear from Bullis head coach Pat Cilento. His Bulldogs a big win tonight as they knocked off Episcopal by a score of 31-17. That one puts the IAC title firmly in Bullis' hands if they can get a win next week over Georgetown Prep in that rivalry matchup. But again, big win for Coach Cilento's squad. We will hear from him. Also, we'll hear from Howard High School head coach Bruce Strunk. His Lions a winner tonight, knocking off River Hill 7-0. An interesting game in Maryland as Howard again ranked in the top 20. A big win, undefeated, remain undefeated with that win, just 7-0 over River Hill, but they get it done. We'll hear from Coach Strunk as well, talking about his team. Maybe some other coaches we'll catch up with as we move along in the show, but what we'll do, we'll also get you updated on the scores tonight. A lot of scores around to get you up to date on as, again, getting close to the end of the season. We'll also get you up to date on the playoff picture with some of the teams, the DC teams, the Maryland teams, the Virginia teams. We'll kind of get you up to date on that as well. So make sure you stay tuned for the entire hour here on the Final Drive here on DMVSTREAM.com as I, Jeremy Huber, take you through all of it, and we'll go ahead and start it right now with the top 25. Kicking things off, the top team in the top 25 not in action today, but they have a big one on their plate tomorrow. Number 1 Northwest hosting number 20 Quince Orchard. That one a 6:30 start tomorrow as Northwest hosts. Should be a big matchup in that contest. Number 2 Good Counsel got all they could handle tonight from O'Connell, but the Falcons pull through, winning 16-14. That's their last game of the regular season. So Good Counsel wraps up an undefeated WCAC campaign and will also be the first seed in their playoffs. Number 3 Westfield rolled over Oakton tonight, 38-0. It was Potomac Falls over number 4 Briar Woods, 8-7. This one a shocker. Potomac Falls scoring with 1:06 left to go in the matchup. Big win for Potomac Falls. First win for them over powerhouse Briar Woods since 2008. Of course, Briar Woods dealing with some issues right now. Had 3 players suspended this week in that assault case that's still pending. So obviously Briar Woods missing some guys, but still a very, very good program. Even missing a few guys. I think they may have been missing those guys last week. Still managed to get the win. In this case, Potomac Falls able to get the victory tonight, 8-7. Huge win for the Panthers. Probably will get them into the playoffs with that victory. They've had some okay wins earlier on the season, knocked off Dominion, a team that was challenging in the 4A playoffs in Virginia, but Potomac Falls in 5A, such a tough slog for them. When you talk about their district, has Briar Woods in it, has also Broad Run in it, has Tuscarora Powerhouse that's ranked this year, all those teams in it, but Potomac Falls getting the big win tonight, 8-7 over number 4 Briar Woods. Number 5, Damascus rolled over Wheaton 41-6. Number 6, Eleanor Roosevelt in action tomorrow against Laurel. That's a 2 p.m. start. Number 7, Douglas also in action tomorrow. That one a 2:30 start against Central. Number 8, DeMatha's Idle. They play Carroll next Saturday. Big for the Stags. Go ahead and get that win and solidify their place in the WCAC as they move towards the playoffs, and should be some powerhouse matchups in the WCAC playoffs this year if the regular season was any indication. All those powers seemingly playing those either 1 point or 1 score games have all been so close, and should be interesting to see how things end up in the WCAC. Number 9, Gonzaga. They face McNamara on the road tomorrow. That's a 2 p.m. kickoff. Number 10, Centerville, they beat Herndon 49-27 tonight. We talked about Bullis' big win. Number 11, Bullis over Episcopal 31-17. They clinch a share of the IAC title with that win. They'll clinch outright with a win over Georgetown Prep next week. Number 12, Broadneck survived a scare from Meade 28-25. That one a neck-and-neck game, no pun intended. The Bruins moved to 9-0 on the season. Number 13, Wise over High Point 51-0. It was Lake Braddock knocking off South County by a score of 62-41. The Bruins putting up some big-time points in that one. Kyle Edwards, a big day, the quarterback for the Bruins. He had 7 touchdowns, 5 by pass, 2 by run, as he really was able to go ahead and get it done for Lake Braddock. And Braddock, an interesting team this year. When you look at the breakdown of their schedule, Lake Braddock, a lot of ups and downs. They've dealt with injuries this season, the Bruins, but if you look at what they've done this year, they beat Stonebridge, the good team out in Loudoun County, usually a power not ranked this year. They lose to Robinson the next week. Then they beat Westfield the week after that. Eventually, later in the season, lose to West Springfield, and then, of course, beat South County tonight. So a huge, really kind of up and down season, but another big win for Lake Braddock this season. We're hoping to check up with their coach, Jim Poythress, later on in the show, and I'm sure if we can get him on the horn, he'll be in a talkative mood as his team had a big win tonight, knocking off South County, handing them their first loss of the season. Stallions were looking for that undefeated regular season campaign, and they stops at 8 wins in a row as they end up falling tonight to Lake Braddock. Number 15, Hilton, no problem with Potomac, winning 34-0. Number 16, Patriot beats Osborne 42-19. Number 17, Tuscarora Idle. They play next Friday against number 4, Briar Woods. That'll be an interesting game. Briar Woods is back to full strength by that point. We'll see. Tuscarora, obviously, no undefeated seasons in school history, just to believe the 4th or 5th year of the school. So they'll be big for them if they can go ahead and get the undefeated season. Likely, if they get the winner of Briar Woods, would clinch the top spot in these 5A North playoffs, which would be big for the Huskies as they look to move to their first ever state championship game. We mentioned another one earlier, number 18, Howard over River Hill, 7-0. Howard moves to 9-0 on the season. Najee Savage with the lone touchdown of the game, had 149 yards for the Lions. Number 19, Thomas Stone, a winner over McDonough, 20-0. Let's run down some of our other scores from around the area. Not everyone in, and of course we'll go ahead and pass those along as we get them throughout the night. Palladia winner over Annapolis Area Christian 34-2. It was Riverdale Baptist over Paul VI Catholic 21-7. That actually was a Thursday night game in D.C. Wilson, a big win over Ballou 36-14. Wilson playing some good football, knocked off H.D. Woodson, I believe, last week, and now beating Ballou as they look to position themselves in the D.C. playoffs. Arundel, a winner in Maryland over Chesapeake 42-20. Clarksburg over Magruder 36-3. It was Glen Elg over Longreach 47-6. Hammond beats Wild Lake 45-14. Lackey over Great Mills 35-6. Marriott's Ridge over Centennial 41-0. Oakland Mills over Mount Hebron 55-28. Old Mill beat North County 59-15. Paint Branch over Sherwood 26-22. So big for Paint Branch. Them and Sherwood were looking at trying to get into the playoffs in their area, and Paint Branch, big win for them as they kind of solidify their case with a nice win over a pretty good Sherwood team. Boonesboro beats Poolesville 28-19. It was Reservoir over Atherton 53-7. Bethesda Chevy Chase, a winner over Richard Montgomery, 28-0. First win of the year for Bethesda Chevy Chase, and that means no teams in Montgomery County will go winless this season. Always good for everyone to get a win and to get a little bit of reward for all the hard work they put up throughout the season. Rockville, a winner over Wooten, 56-14. Rams trying to get in the playoffs. Seneca Valley looking to solidify a playoff spot as they rout Einstein 52-0. Severna Park over Northeast, 41-0. It was South River over Glen Burnie, 35-6. Annapolis big over Southern, 40-27. Watkins Mill over Northwood, 47-28. Churchill beat Whitman, 41-7. North Point over La Plata 42-0. Over in Virginia, Chantilly, a nice win over Robinson 28-9. Robinson falling on some hard times as of late. Again, the Rams really some big wins earlier on in the season. In fact, we mentioned before where they beat Lake Braddock. Robinson actually had run their record on the season out to 6-0, have lost their last 3 games, losing to Westfield, to Oakton in a close one 7-0, now to Chantilly, and they got Centerville coming up. So tough end of the slate for Robinson. Dominion a winner over Parkview 35-7. Hayfield again continuing their great play as they beat Falls Church by a count of 42-14. Of course, the interesting thing there when you talk about Hayfield, and you have to mention it, the way they've been able to play this season, but Hayfield moving through the season, a team that we talked about, they had before on the show, such a hard schedule to start things off as Hayfield had the matchups with Centerville, had the matchups with Westfield as well, and then also I believe had to play South County. So Hayfield losing all 3 of those games, but all of them closed. South County by a touchdown, Westfield by 2 touchdowns. Centerville got them a little bit, but that was the third one of that string. Ever since then, Hayfield hasn't lost. They've gone through and really ran through things, looking for, I believe, a national district title for them. Play Edison next week, but looks like they're going to finish, have a chance to beat Edison and finish on a 7-game win streak. So you talk about playing tough competition and getting you battle tested for later in the season. Well, the Hawks of Hayfield, definitely a testament to that, as they beat a pretty good Falls Church team tonight, 42-14. Elsewhere, Loudoun County, an upset win over Loudoun Valley, 28-24, handing the Vikings their first district loss of the season. Really solidifies Loudoun County's playoff hopes, as Loudoun Valley had only lost 1 game on the season. So really, if the Raiders get a win over Heritage, their crosstown rival next week, they'll probably be getting into the playoffs in 4A North. Also, Langley, a close win, beating Madison tonight, 21-20. Edison over Stewart, 28-0. And Washington Lee beating Wakefield 21-20. Big win for Washington Lee. And of course, Wakefield, a team kind of the opposite of Hayfield, as Wakefield started the season off very strong, winning their first 4, and also beat Falls Church. But now they've lost 3 of their last 5 as they fall to Washington Lee tonight in their matchup. Couple games from yesterday as well to pass along. Anacostia, a winner over Dunbar, 40-32. Eastern top Bell, 44-22. Eastern taking over first place in the DCIAA Stripes division. Fredericksburg Christian over National Christian, 34-16, excuse me. Freedom of Woodbridge, a winner as well. They beat Garfield 20-16. So that's your early rundown of the scores. We'll have more as more come in later on in the show. We'll go ahead and pass them along. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. When we come back, we'll go ahead and hear from Bullis coach Pat Cilento. His team, a big winner tonight over Episcopal, 31-17. We'll go ahead and check in with Coach right after this. Stay tuned here. You're listening to The Final Drive here on DMVSTREAM.com.
Is live streaming. We'll go on site. We'll actually set up our cameras, we'll set up a feed, and we'll beam that to our clients. One of their clients being WashingtonPost.com, one of our more recent projects. We actually live streamed a high school football player's decision as to where he was going to go play college football. We went early, we did a dry run, we did a walkthrough, we hooked up to their internet. We created the stream and we pumped that to back at WashingtonPost.com, where they broadcast that signal to thousands of people that were interested in watching that content. It was a very successful first few steps into live programming for major media organizations. We'll continue exploring it as we are now going out and doing live high school sporting events, college sporting events. We're also doing stuff for some of our private clients over at universities, streaming, lectures, all kinds of stuff that this new live programming technology will allow us to continue to make new steps in the multimedia world.
MMA card in the DC area. We're taking in 4 camera angles, as you can see on our TriCaster. We've got both close-ups on fighters. We've got a bird's eye view. We're pumping the signal throughout the entire venue here at Echo Stage in DC. You can watch the fight from all levels within the venue. We're pumping it through all of the monitors above the bars, as well as a 40-foot LED wall up on the back screen behind me here. We are pumping this throughout every monitor within this building so that there's really literally no bad seat in the house. We've got our camera operators set up on the cage. We've also got ambient microphones run. We've got a play-by-play and color announcer for our recordings. We are also pumping that out within the venue. Also, you can rent FM headsets to listen to the play-by-play if you are actually in the venue. So just another great use for our live production crew at Synthesis.
And it's the end of the round, and I think
the fight's over.
He just
Just
stopped it. Wow. I mean, with 1 second left, in round number 2, Mercer catches Friedman with an overhand right.
Nice.
That's a powerful left kick to the face.
Oh, it's over. This one's over.
Is he out?
Yeah, that knee.
Jeez. Jonathan Escalona caught him with a knee. It's all over with. Wow. What a knee from Jonathan Escalona to Darnell Murphy. We probably ought to get the doctors in and take a look.
All right,
What's up, sports fans? I'm really excited to tell you about our newest product, DMVSTREAM.COM. DMVSTREAM.COM is a website dedicated to broadcasting live sports in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. We'll be broadcasting pro, amateur, college, high school, AAU, and youth games, as well as tournaments. You can watch these free broadcasts on your computers, tablets, and mobile devices like iPad, iPhone, Android, and more. DMVStream.com is a free site. No subscriptions, no logins, no hassle. Just log on and watch sports free. What's different about us? Well, you're in control. You're calling the shots. By voting in our weekly poll and sharing it on Facebook and Twitter, you can tell us where our next broadcast is going to be. I'm really excited about this new venture, and I hope you'll help us spread the good word by logging on to Facebook and Twitter and sharing us at DMVStream.com. What's up, sports?
Welcome back into the final drive here on DMVStream.com. I'm Jeremy Huber, of course, bringing you all the information and the movers and shakers from high school football in the DMV every Friday night. I'm lining it up for you, knocking them down, talking about all the big games. Remember, if you want to tweet us, do it at DMVStream. Hashtag it with DMV Final Drive. That's DMVStream, hashtag Final Drive. Joined now by the head coach of Bullis, Pat Cilento, his team with another great performance tonight, putting themselves on the inside track for that IAC title with a 31-17 win over Episcopal. Coach, congratulations on the victory.
Thank you.
Now, obviously, you guys, a little bit of a slugfest early on. If my numbers are correct, you guys were tied at the half, I think 3-3, very close game. You kind of broke it open in the third quarter, I think, with a touchdown pass on a 4th and 7. Talk a little bit about that play and how you guys were able to kind of, the decision-making process went into that and the play you called.
It was actually a great read by our quarterback. It was, a slant flat route, and he was actually supposed to go to the right with it, and they overloaded the right side, and he came back and hit the split side receiver, and he made a guy miss it, and we ended up in the end zone. We just needed to do something to change that on the first half. We turned the ball over 3 times, got stopped on 4th and a half of an inch, and just weren't executing. So we needed something to light a spark. And fortunately for us, we made the play on 4th down.
And obviously did. You kind of went through, and I think you even put the game away on a little bit of a tricky play late as well, correct?
We did. We ran a reverse pass late, to try to seal the deal, and we executed that well.
I know some coaches kind of shy away from those type of plays, but obviously it sounds like you are very, very okay with running those anytime you can. Is that the case? You're a guy that says, hey, it's a play we work on, we're going to run it?
Well, there's a time and a place for everything, and it just so happened it was, we scored, and then they came back and answered very quick, and we were still only up. I think maybe a touchdown, maybe 2 touchdowns. Actually, I think 2 touchdowns at the time, and we we had to do something because they were moving the ball, and we got on the plus side of the 50, and we decided to run it, and the kids executed it.
You talked about the pass by Haskins. Talk a little bit about Dwayne and what he was able to do today and what he's been doing all season long.
Dwayne's been great all year. I mean, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Again, made the play on 4th and 7. Threw the flea flicker perfect. Once guys are that wide open, a lot of times you don't throw it right on the money, and it gets dropped once guys are wide or not. No one within 20 yards of him, and he made a perfect pass to Devontae, and Devontae caught it in stride.
Now, you guys, as we mentioned early in the interview, it was a close game in that first half. Did you kind of look in your kids' eyes and see them? Was there any panic there? Were they just saying, hey, this is a tough opponent, or eventually we're going to have our way with them, eventually it's going to go our way?
Well, you just had to fix some things. We weren't executing, and again, we turned the ball over 3 times in the first half, and once we settled down and calmed down and just decided to play football, we were fine. But at that time, we were still, sort of a hangover from Landon, our big rival, and we just didn't go out and execute. And uncharacteristic of us to turn the ball over. Many times when you turn the ball over 3 times and don't create turnovers, you're going to lose. But we overcame it and made some plays.
Again, talking to Pat Cilento, head coach of Bullis. They get the 31-17 win tonight over Episcopal. Of course, Coach, now it's all on your racket. The win over Georgetown Prep next week gives you the IAC title. What would another one of those mean to your program?
It's great. I couldn't be more happier for the kids for the opportunity to play for another championship. And it's not going to be an easy task. Georgetown Prep's a great team and always plays us tough. And it's another, neighborhood rival, 5 miles away. So it's going to be a tough one. But I'm fortunate, and our kids are fortunate enough to have the opportunity to play for it.
And one more before I let you go, Coach. We ask this all the time with the coaches. Has this team progressed the way you have wanted them to throughout this season?
They've done a great job. We do have a few big-time kids, but on defense, we're starting 8 underclassmen, and it shows at points. But they've been doing a great job, especially in IAC play, shutting teams down. Again, they gave up 17 points tonight, but before that, it was all under 10.
Head coach Pat Cilento of Bullis, a winner over Episcopal tonight, 31-17, puts them one win away from the IAC championship. Coach, congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Again, Pat Cilento, head coach of Bullis, here on the final drive here on DMVSTREAM.com. And Bullis, again, with a big win. That program, a very good one under Pat Cilento, as they, again, really on that driver's seat for the IAC title to go ahead and get the title there, as they have Georgetown Prep to go ahead and to knock off, to go ahead and be the champions of the IAC. Nice in their cap this year. Nice feather in their cap, I guess I should say, as they have really had a good season on their part this year. A couple more scores to go ahead and pass along to you. Some action from Maryland that we've just gotten word on. Patuxent, the winner tonight, knocking off Calvert by a score of 28-20. Elsewhere, and some other action in Maryland, St. Charles falling to Northern. Northern winning that one big, 49-6. And that's a couple other ones I believe we have from Maryland just in. Yes, Springbrook, a winner over Kennedy, 24-6 there. So win for Springbrook as well. Some other games from Virginia we're still looking to go ahead and effort to get to you. We'll go ahead and do those. Remember, we will go ahead in the second half of the show. We'll hear from Howard coach Bruce Strunk after their big win today, knocking off River Hill 7-0. Real close game there. Not a lot of scoring, but they don't think they really cared when it came to Howard, as they're able to go ahead and win and move their record to 9-0 on the season. So big win for the Howard Lions. Also, maybe we'll catch up with someone from like Braddock, as they had a big win tonight over South County, so stay tuned for all of that. We'll also get you up to date on those Virginia scores. We'll run you down what's going on tomorrow, and also get you up to date on some of the how playoff implications are shaking out. And again, we'll do all of that here on the Final Drive here on DMVSTREAM.com. Remember, you can tweet us at DMVStream, hashtag it with DMV Final Drive. That's at DMVStream, hashtag DMV Final Drive. So make sure you stay tuned. We'll have more of the show coming up right after this. You're listening to The Final Drive here on DMVStream.com.
At DMVSTREAM.com, we'll stream your verbal commitment live to our audience, viewable on computers, televisions, and mobile devices. Stream your college commitment live to the world. Let us know when and where you'll make the biggest choice of your athletic career, and we'll dispatch a producer who will handle all the technical, putting you in front and center under the brightest lights on your biggest day. You can blast your biggest moments to all your friends and family, as well as Facebook and Twitter followers. They can watch you make this choice live. Interested in having us stream your commitment? Fill out the form below and let us know how we can get involved. Remember, follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and visit us on the web at DMVStream.com. Today we're at the biggest MMA, longest running MMA card in the DC area. We're taking in 4 camera angles, as you can see on our TriCaster. We've got both close-ups on fighters. We've got a bird's eye view. We're pumping the signal throughout the entire venue here at Echo Stage in DC. You can watch the fight from all levels within the venue. We're pumping it through all of the monitors above the bars, as well as a 40-foot LED wall up on the back screen behind me here. We are pumping this throughout every monitor within this building, so that there's really literally no bad seat in the house. We've got our camera operators set up on the cage. We've also got ambient microphones run. We've got a play-by-play and color announcer for our recordings. We are also pumping that out within the venue. Also, you can rent FM headsets to listen to the play-by-play if you are actually in the venue. So just another great use for our live production crew at Synthesis.
And it's the end of the round, and I think
Is it? No, the fight's over.
He just
The fight's over.
just stopped it. Wow. I mean, with 1 second left, in round number 2, Mercer catches Friedman with an overhand right.
Nice.
That's a powerful left kick to the face.
Oh, it's over. This one's over.
Is he out?
Yeah, that knee. Jeez.
Jonathan Escalona caught him with a knee. It's all over with. Wow. What a knee from Jonathan Escalona to Darnell Murphy. We probably ought to get the doctors in and take a look.
All right, so today I'm really excited to tell you about our newest product, DMVSTREAM.com. DMVSTREAM.com is a website dedicated to broadcasting live sports in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. We'll be broadcasting pro, amateur, college, high school, AAU, and youth games, as well as tournaments. You can watch these free broadcasts on your computers, tablets, and mobile devices like iPad, iPhone, Android, and more. DMVStream.com is a free site. No subscriptions, no logins, no hassle. Just log on and watch sports free. What's different about us? Well, you're in control. You're calling the shots. By voting in our weekly poll and sharing it on Facebook and Twitter, you can tell us where our next broadcast is going to be. I'm really excited about this new venture, and I hope you'll help us spread the good word by logging on to Facebook and Twitter and sharing us at DMVStream.com.
Welcome back into the Final Drive here on DMVStream.com. Jeremy Hubert back with you. A few more scores into the show. We'll go ahead and pass those along in just 1 second as we kind of get ready for the second half of the show, and some really good games out there tonight. We talked about it a little bit early in the program. The big upset of the night, number 4 Briar Woods going down to Potomac Falls 8-7. So the Falcons losing that one, obviously not happy to go ahead and drop that one, but really jubilance, I'm sure, in Sterling, Virginia, as Potomac Falls got the big win there. take a quick look at some of those games we've just gotten in from the from the Virginia area of things. Actually, one Maryland score, I think, to pass along. Leonardtown, a winner over Choppington, 27-14. Huntingtown over Westlake, 24-16. Patuxent, a winner over Calvert as well, 28-20. A couple of those games we passed along from Maryland. Now some Virginia scores that we've just gotten in. It was Stonebridge over Fairfax tonight, 41-14. Fauquier, winner over Brentsville, 35-0. Champ over Heritage, 31-14 in their matchup. Champ making a nice strong run at the end of the season. Also, Yorktown, a win over Mount Vernon, 28-21. Stonewall Jackson over Osborne Park, 10-7. And Annandale over West Potomac, 31-21 in their matchup tonight. So, seeing some interesting scores out there and some teams solidifying what they've got going on late in the season. Of course, that's big. Both Maryland, Virginia wrapping up their seasons, privates as well. So kind of getting to that positioning where you're looking to see what you can do, what you can go ahead, and you can see if you can get a little bit more positioning when it comes to where you're going to be in the playoff race. Always important as you kind of move through things late in the season to position yourself the best. Some teams, obviously love those home games. Some, not as much for others, but it's a big deal. Let's take a quick look at some of the action, a couple recaps we've had in real quickly to here on the final drive. Some stuff courtesy of allmetsports.com. Talked about the big upset. Potomac Falls, a winner over number 4 Briar Woods tonight, 8-7. Head coach Jason Allen leading the Panthers to the big win. Really maybe a program-making win for him. And Potomac Falls actually guarantees themselves of a non-losing season, had a chance for a winning season. I believe next week I think they take on their crosstown rival Dominion as they finish off the season. But actually a 4th and goal at the Briar Woods 5-yard line with less than 2 minutes to go in the game. Pass by Brady Williams deflected, but had another chance when holding was caught on Briar Woods and went for a trick play. His wide receiver Tommy Hardman threw a touchdown pass to wide receiver Wanya Allen. And then Potomac Falls, as you might think, because Briar Woods, good football team, probably bigger than Potomac Falls. And Potomac Falls goes for 2, and running back R.J. Falecki went into the end zone and it got the 2 and ending up getting the win. And Briar Woods actually held scoreless the first 3 quarters of the game, really just could never get anything going. So Potomac Falls, and actually Briar Woods got in position to kick a 43-yard field goal with 5 seconds left, but Briar Woods missed the kick and so ended up not getting it, and Potomac Falls with their first win over Briar Woods since October 31st of 2008. So Halloween was good to the Panthers that day, and it was good tonight as they beat Briar Woods. And all those previous 6 meetings since that date, Briar Woods outscored Potomac Falls 269-29. So a big spread between these two teams over the last few years, but Potomac Falls getting the big win tonight, knocking off the number 4 team in the area. We talked to their coach earlier on, number 11 Bullis over Episcopal, 31-17. Bullis goes to 8-1 on the season, knocking off Episcopal, who drops to 7-2. Devontae Williams, 183 yards, and their quarterback Dwayne Haskins threw 2 touchdown passes, threw for 201 yards in the contest. Bullis didn't score through the first 20 minutes of the game, but 28 points in the second half, and Bullis wins the IAC title outright with a win over Georgetown Prep next week. Number 12, Broadneck, a big win over Meade tonight to move to 9-0 on the season, 28-25. The Bruins get the win there. Again, first half turnovers, issues there, and there's a 1 touchdown lead in the first half for Broadneck, but eventually getting enough to get the win. Meade falling to 7-2 on the season, again, as Broadneck goes to 9-0 on the year. Again, Broadneck had lost 3 straight to the Mustangs, but they get the win tonight. Wilson, a big win over Ballou, scoring 20 points in the fourth quarter as they beat Ballou 36-14. Those two teams kind of battling out for second place in the DCIA Stars division. Abdul Adams putting things away for Wilson. Touchdown runs of 35 and 55 yards in the final 5 minutes of the game. Adams wraps up with 247 on 25 carries, also with 23 yards receiving as Tigers put a 4-game winning streak on the line next week as they take on Dunbar. Forest Park a winner over Woodbridge, a 40-14 win for Forest Park over Woodbridge. Forest Park 7-2 on the season, so obviously looking for a nice playoff position with that record. And Forest Park again led 40-0 in the third quarter and really kind of blew things open. That one not really close as they get the big win over Woodbridge by that count of 40-14 as the Bruins beat the Vikings in that one as they go ahead and get the win. Some other action from around. We talked about it earlier. We'll run through the top 20 again right now. Do it one more time before we get going on the show. Number 1, Northwest plays tomorrow against Quince Orchard, a 6:30 game. Number 2, Good Counsel over O'Connell, 16-14. Number 3, Westfield over Oakton, 38-0. Potomac Falls stuns number 4, Briar Woods, 8-7. Number 5, Damascus over Wheaton, 41-6. Tomorrow, number 6, Eleanor Roosevelt takes on Laurel. Number 7, Douglas at Central tomorrow. DeMatha. Number 8 is Idle. Number 9, Gonzaga at McNamara tomorrow. Number 10, Centerville over Herndon, 49-27. Number 11, Bullis. They beat Episcopal 31-17. Number 12, Broadneck edges Meade 28-25. Number 13, Wise over High Point 51-0. Number 14, South County upset by Lake Braddock 62-41. Number 15, Hilton, they knock off Potomac 34-0. Number 16, Patriot over Osborne 42-19. Number 17, Tuscarora Idle, they play Briar Woods next week. Number 18, Howard over River Hill 7-0. Number 19, Thomas Stone, they beat McDonough 20-0. That's a look at the top 20. We'll go ahead and we'll run down the entire list of scores later on in the show. Going to take a quick break here. We'll be right back, and coming up in a little bit, we'll hear from the head coach over at Howard. Big win for them tonight to go ahead and get the victory as Bruce Strunk, head coach of the Howard Lions. Big win tonight over River Hill. We'll hear from him coming up in just a bit. Stay tuned. Remember, if you're looking to tweet us, do it at DMVStream, #Final Drive. That's DMVStream, #DMV Final Drive to go ahead and get to us here on the Final Drive. I'm Jeremy Huber. Stay tuned. More coming up here on the show.
What's up, sports fans? I'm really excited to tell you about our newest product, DMVSTREAM.COM. DMVSTREAM.com is a website dedicated to broadcasting live sports in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. We'll be broadcasting pro, amateur, college, high school, AAU, and youth games as well as tournaments. You can watch these free broadcasts on your computers, tablets, and mobile devices like iPad, iPhone, Android, and more. DMVSTREAM.com is a free site. No subscriptions, no logins, no hassle. Just log on and watch sports free. What's different about us? Well, you're in control. You're calling the shots. By voting in our weekly poll and sharing it on Facebook and Twitter, you can tell us where our next broadcast is going to be. I'm really excited about this new venture, and I hope you'll help us spread the good word by logging on to Facebook and Twitter and sharing us at DMVStream.com.
The biggest MMA, longest running MMA card in the DC area. We're taking in 4 camera angles, as you can see on our TriCaster. We've got both close-ups on fighters. We've got a bird's eye view. We're pumping the signal throughout the entire venue here at Echo Stage in DC. You can watch the fight from all levels within the venue. We're pumping it through all of the monitors above the bars, as well as a 40-foot LED wall up on the back screen behind me here. We are pumping this throughout every monitor within this building so that there's really literally no bad seat in the house. We've got our camera operators set up on the cage. We've also got ambient microphones run. We've got a play-by-play and color announcer for our recordings. We are also pumping that out within the venue. Also, you can rent FM headsets to listen to the play-by-play if you are actually in the venue. So just another great use for our live production crew at Synthesis.
And it's the end of the round, and I think
the fight's over.
He just
The fight's over.
just stopped it. Wow. I mean, with 1 second left, in round number 2, Mercer catches Friedman with an overhand right.
Nice.
That's a powerful left kick to the face.
Oh, it's over. This one's over.
Is he out?
Yeah, that knee. Jeez.
Jonathan Escalona caught him with a knee. It's all over with. Wow. Wow. What a knee from Jonathan Escalona to Darnell Murphy. We probably ought to get the doctors in and take a look.
Welcome back into the final drive. Remember, if you want to get at us, you can tweet us at DMVStream, hashtag it with DMV Final Drive. That's again at DMVStream, hashtag it with DMV Final Drive if you want to go ahead and let us know what you're thinking on the night. Well, a lot of what's going on the night is a huge upset when it comes to football in the area and really in the in the Virginia area, as it was a huge upset. Potomac Falls tonight knocking off number 4 Briar Woods, and we're lucky enough to be joined by their head coach Jason Allen on the show. Coach Allen, congratulations on the huge win tonight.
Yeah, it was definitely a big win, big signature win for our program, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, and obviously I'm from the Loudoun County area, so I know all about the dominance of Briar Woods, not just you guys. We looked at some of the scores the Post put up. It hadn't been pretty over the last few years, but what they've done to everybody. But you guys, a gutsy effort by your team tonight, really to hold them down scoring-wise throughout most of the game. Let's start off with your defense, because obviously you had to be playing up to a high level to do that. What were they able to do tonight to slow down the Falcons?
Well, we kind of implemented a new defense in the off season, and the bottom line is the kids just executed. We didn't do a whole lot of fancy things. We've just kind of hammered to our kids, just do your job. Play together, do your job. And everything will take care of itself, and that's what the kids did. They played their position. It wasn't anything exotic or anything like that. It's just the kids played mentally well for 4 quarters and did the job, and we came out on top.
Now you get down and you score late and put that drive together to go ahead and get the points to go ahead and eventually take the lead. We'll talk about the 2-point conversion in just a second, but what did you see out of your guys on that last drive as they were able to go ahead and get in and score to put you in the position to decide whether to tie it or go for 2?
Well, that's our offense. Again, we implemented new offense in the off season too. Last year we kind of went back to the drawing board in the off season. After a rough year, first year in the program, and we kind of figured out what exactly, what would suit our kids, and the style of offense that we run definitely suits our kids. But it's a patient offense. I mean, you have to be patient. And Briar Woods is a good football team. I mean, they got a great defense. They were hard to run on, and so our kids just kept plugging. But we didn't give up. We kept doing our assignments. Just keep plugging. Keep kind of use the metaphor of chopping down the tree. Just keep chopping, and eventually you're going to get what you need. And that's what our kids did. They just kept grinding. We've done a tremendous amount of conditioning, and our kids were just they were ready, and they played as hard as they could, and everything that we've asked for them, they did it, and it's great to experience that. And
Coach, talking about that, that schedule that you guys play this year has been a rugged one in the sense of you've got the teams in your own district, which is one of the best in all of Virginia when you talk about having Tuscarora and Briar Woods and Broad Run, and then you play some really good of the 4A teams as well. Your crosstown rival Dominion, also some matchups in there against Champ, a real up-and-coming program as well. Did you feel like that eventually that schedule was going to make your guys battle-tested and hardened for a game like this to say at some point, hey, we're not backing down from anybody?
Hey, absolutely. It's a rough schedule. We sit there and say when we hit this point, it's murderer's row. But our kids knew it. We're not backing down. If team's going to throw some punches, we're going to get in there and get our noses dirty and stand up to it and throw some of our own. And that's it. Our kids, time and time again have been tested, and we've just gotten better every week. That was what we preached. To be honest with you, I know it sounds cliche, but we don't care about the scoreboard. We just care about our kids improving every week. Are they doing what they need to do to get better? We're building this program, and things aren't built in a day, and and that's kind of how we approach things. And our kids just we're just grinding it out, and this definitely is going to prepare us for future things to come as well.
Coach Jason Allen of Potomac Falls, a huge win tonight, the upset of number 4, Briar Woods. Coach, you talked about that toughness. Well, I would think there had to be a little bit of swagger for you to go ahead and decide to go for 2 late in the game. What went into the decision to go for 2 instead of taking the 1?
Well, I learned that on Oscar Smith, when I was on their coaching staff, we before a couple of our big games, one of the biggest games in our history, the head coach kind of looked at everybody and was, the day before, and he said, if it comes down to a 2-point conversion, what do you guys want to do? And it was kind of out of the blue. I remember being on staff saying, holy cow, this is kind of an odd question, but, we talked about it. And the very next night, it came down to, do we want to go, are we going for 2 or are we going for 1? And, we went for it. And so I had that experience, and we had discussed it as a staff a couple weeks ago before the Tuscarora games. And, if it comes down to 2, what are we going to do? And so we were confident, in terms of our 2-point plays and what we needed to do. We were confident. I was confident in my kids, and it just came down to that. We were kind of prepared for it. But you look at them, and our kids were up. I mean, they were ready to go. We had been thrown so much at them, and they were battling, and we were ready to stay in that ring and throw the final punch.
And that you did. And, Coach, got to ask you real quickly before we let you go, Jason Allen of Potomac Falls, big win tonight over Briar Woods. How does this set up your playoff positioning? Does this one kind of solidify you guys if you can get the win against Dominion next week, or do you think it puts you in, or do you have no idea because you don't have the math degree to go ahead and figure it out?
Yeah, that's pretty much how it is. I know, from what a couple of my coaches said that we were in a decent position, and now with this win, it puts us in obviously a better position. But to be honest with you, where exactly we are and definites or not, I'm not 100% sure. That's not my forte. That's why I'm a history teacher and a PE teacher, not a math teacher.
Well, Coach Allen, whatever it is, I think you're going to be in a lot better position than you would have been if you wouldn't have beaten the Falcons tonight. Your team, an 8-7 win over number 4, Briar Woods. Coach Allen, congratulations on the huge win tonight. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Jason Allen, the head coach of Potomac Falls, big win for his squad in that matchup. Again, it's a big upset out Loudoun County where I'm at. Most people did not see that one coming at all, but his team able to go ahead and author that one, getting the big win tonight. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, do some more things, got some more coaches to hear from, so stay tuned. It's all here on The Final Drive here on DMVSTREAM.com.
At DMVSTREAM.com. We'll stream your verbal commitment live to our audience, viewable on computers, televisions, and mobile devices. Stream your college commitment live to the world. Let us know when and where you'll make the biggest choice of your athletic career, and we'll dispatch a producer. We'll handle all the technical, putting you in front and center under the brightest lights on your biggest day. You can blast your biggest moments to all your friends and family, as well as Facebook and Twitter followers. They can watch you make this choice live. Interested in having us stream your commitment? Fill out the form below and let us know how we can get involved. Remember, follow us on Facebook and Twitter and visit us on the web at DMVSTREAM.com.
Welcome back after that quick break here on The Final Drive. Had a chance to catch up earlier in the day with Howard Lions head coach Bruce Strunk after his team's huge win over River Hill to keep their season undefeated. The Lions 9-0 after that win as they came into the week with the number 18 ranking, knocked off rival River Hill. Again, talked to their head coach Bruce Strunk and first started the interview off by congratulating him on that huge win over the Hawks.
Thank you very much. It's always a big win when you beat River Hill. They have a great program, and they set the bar in Howard County for the last 10 years. So we're excited.
Yeah, as you should be. And this game, you always want to have a memorable game or a few memorable games in the season, especially one to keep yourself undefeated. This one, a 7-0 win. How hard fought was this game? Was it just an absolute dogfight out there?
It was. I mean, their offense is a very potent offense, and our defense came to play, and they really did a great job. taking it to River Hill, and they did a good job on their defense too. So, it was a black and blue game, and we'll take it.
Now, it looked like you guys had some turnovers that may have helped keep them in the game. Did you sense any nerves from your guys going into this one that, or maybe some plays that kind of leaving a few plays out there early that you could have made and maybe giving yourself a little more cushion?
Yeah, we shot ourselves in the foot a lot. We had a couple turnovers, more than a couple penalties that put us in some bad situations. Offensively, especially the first half, we were really out of sync, and high school football, we were a little bit out of sync. We had a 4:30 start time. We were just out of our, our weekly routine, and it took us a half to wake up. But the second half, our offense did what they had to do. We controlled the clock most of the second half. We drove the ball, even when we didn't score on 2 drives that we should have. We gave River Hill a full field to drive each time. So, and our defense, the way that they were playing, that was to our benefit.
Always important to make the other team drive, especially in high school football. You talked about the defense, Coach Strunk, and obviously they had a Herculean effort today to hold down, as you said, a potent River Hill team. Talk about what they were able to do and some of the guys that really were key in doing it.
Oh, wow. It was I can't name one. It was a total team effort. We played assignment football. Kids flew around and pinned their ears back. It just came and played, and I'm just real excited. I mean, a couple of our senior leaders, Winston Baylor-Tibadair, had a great game. Our linebacking crew of Nick Saunders, junior Zach Robinson had a great game. Christian Dargan and Isaiah Stokes had great games. And I apologize to all the kids I'm leaving out, but it was a truly a team effort.
It sounds like it would have to be to go ahead and shut out a team like River Hill. Of course, the one score of the game coming from one of your stars, Najee Savage, a 9-yard touchdown run, obviously able to get you going. But some other guys on the offensive linemen and, of course, receivers, who else really stood out there on the offense to get that score and get that field position in your favor with some good drives?
Well, the line obviously did a good job blocking that we drove the field in the second half. And Malik Anderson also carried the ball quite a few times, and he picked up some key yardage as well.
Yeah, and a lot of guys contributing to this win, as you said. Now, looking at how this kind of breaks down for your team as you move forward, you go ahead and clinch a piece of the county title with the win today. You put yourself in really good playoff positioning. How proud are you of what your team has been able to accomplish so far this season?
I'm extremely proud of our guys. We're kind of overachievers. We're not real big, we're not real fast, but we do have a couple big guys, and we do have a couple fast guys. So, we're a blue-collar team. We expect a lot from them in the off-season with the lifting and the running, and it all paid off tonight. And I'm very proud of the guys.
Coach, I actually, when I played in high school football in Virginia, I played at Loudoun County High School. School was the first school in the county after a consolidation. It had so many alumni. Is that kind of the same thing you guys are getting now at Howard, since you guys, I believe, the first school after consolidation, really, where a lot of the alums in the area went to your school, where it's kind of that feeling of, hey, Howard football is doing some special things this year?
I am seeing that a little bit, and people are coming out of the woodworks and posting stuff on our Facebook page, and I played in this year, and good luck, and absolutely. And it's been a long time since Howard football was on top. I think back in the 90s they had a couple of playoff run years, but last couple of years have been pretty special here.
And, Coach, one last one before I let you go. What does your team have to do moving forward to go ahead and make that deep run in the playoffs that I'm sure they would love to go ahead and do?
Well, we got to get better. We're not going to win many playoff games shooting ourselves in the foot like we did tonight. We played a tough River Hill team, but, there's a lot of tough teams around. We've been out watching some teams in the state, and, you can't put yourself in bad situations and win a playoff game. So we got to get better. We got another week to do it. But, I'm just excited for the guys tonight. And, it's just, we win next weekend. We're the Outright County champs, and, I'm real happy for the guys.
Well, Bruce Strunk, a lot of folks happy for you and your squad. The Howard Lions knocking off River Hill in a tough one tonight, 7-0 to stay undefeated on the season. Coach, congratulations, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Coach Bruce Strunk of Howard, the Lions, a big win as they were the ranked team and they stay up. A team that was the unranked team but got the big win tonight. That would be Lake Braddock, the Bruins, with a win in a shootout, 62-41 over number 14 South County. Their head coach, Jim Poythress, joins us right now on the final drive. Coach Poythress, congratulations on the big win.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Now, obviously, tonight, that one, I don't know, was that the way you drew it up to score 62 points and only win the game by 21?
Well, I mean, we knew that we had to score some points, and we thought we were capable, but we also recognized that, they were an offensive juggernaut. They're averaging 50-some points a game coming into it, so for us, we just needed to play the full 48 minutes. That was our focus, and see what happens at the end.
Now, what happened was Kyle Edwards had a big night for you guys, had 7 total touchdowns, 5 passing, 2 running. Talk about his play tonight, what he was able to do for you under center.
Well, I think we all recognize on the staff here that we had a potential marquee quarterback, and we lost a game 3 weeks ago, and we felt like we just needed to take the training wheels off and let number 12 direct the offense and make some audibles, etc. And we handed him the reins last week, and we scored 52 points, and then tonight he took it another step.
And you guys have had what has really been a strange season in the sense that you guys have been ranked, and you've had these kind of highs and highs where you've had the big wins. You beat Westfield. You had some lows, some games that maybe folks outsidely thought you shouldn't have lost. Obviously, injuries have been a factor, but has it been a bit of a roller coaster season for you guys this year?
No, I don't think anybody inside the locker rooms felt that way. I mean, we're 4 points from being undefeated, but I think the big thing with this football team is you have to play every down like it's your last, and there were some times where, without disrespecting anybody else, we played down to the level of our opponents, and so one of the focuses tonight was just play as best you can each and every snap.
How do you feel like your team is peaking right now when it comes down to the late part of the season and obviously a wide open playoff race when you talk about 16 teams being in a region? How do you feel like your team is trending upward? Are they trending upward as you go into that playoff push?
I guess so. If we scored 112 points the last 2 weeks. So things seem to be moving in the right direction. I mean, it's high school football, so you never know. You could lay an egg any time, but I do feel like our team is, starting to peak at the right moment.
And one more before we let you go, Coach. You also feel that because of the rugged schedule that you play, Stonebridge out of conference, you play Robinson out of conference, you play Westfield out of conference. Do you feel like that has your guys prepared for anything that they could see in the playoffs coming up?
I think so. I mean, certainly we've seen, as good a teams as the state has to offer. So we feel like we can compete with anyone, and we also know that we can play down with anyone. So it's just a week-to-week thing. So we'd focus on next week, try to take care of that, and see where we land in the playoffs.
Well, Jim Poythress, obviously another big win for you guys, a season of many when you look down that roster of who you played and who you've beaten. I think if we had the college football playoff, you guys would be one of those really good teams of who you played and who you've beaten because you guys have beaten some good ones. Another good win tonight over South County. Thanks for joining us on the show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Jim Poythress, again, that team, that Lake Braddock squad, you just look at what they've been able to do on the season. The loss to Robinson, the loss to West Springfield, but they go and beat Stonebridge, always a rugged Stonebridge team. They beat Westfield, have some good wins on that schedule, but as he kind of talked about, W.T. Woodson, the team who struggled on the year, they beat them by 6, have an 11-point win over Annandale, and of course lose to West Springfield last week. An up-and-coming West Springfield team, but obviously his team scoring some points as they're trending upward as you go in the playoffs. Kyle Edwards, again, with that big performance tonight, 7 total touchdowns for the Lake Braddock quarterback. We're going to take one more quick break, and we'll run down every single score we have. We're going to do a little bit of overtime on the final drive tonight. It's been such a good show. We're going to go ahead and do that coming up next. Stay tuned. It's here. I'm Jeremy Huber, and it's all here on the final drive.
What's up, sports fans? I'm really excited to tell you about our newest product,
DMVSTREAM.com. DMVSTREAM.com is a website dedicated to broadcasting live sports in D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. We'll be broadcasting pro, amateur, college, high school, AAU, and youth games as well as tournaments. You can watch these free broadcasts on your computers, tablets, and mobile devices like iPad, iPhone, Android, and more. DMVStream.com is a free site. No subscriptions, no logins, no hassle. Just log on and watch sports free. What's different about us? Well, you're in control. You're calling the shots. By voting in our weekly poll and sharing it on Facebook and Twitter, you can tell us where our next broadcast is going to be. I'm really excited about this new venture, and I hope you'll help us spread the good word by logging on to Facebook and Twitter and sharing us at DMVStream.com.
A little bit of overtime on the final drive. We've hit 11:30, but we still have some more show to do. We'll get a chance to run down some of the playoff scenarios. Maybe do that next week, and as we'll kind of have a little more clarity when it comes down to the end of the season. Remember, great spot to find all that information, allmetsports.com. That's where they have it all. So if you want to know what it was looking like for your team coming into the night, though, with some of the upsets we've seen, maybe changing the narrative just a bit as we move forward, at least if you're a fan of public school teams in Maryland and Virginia. A little bit easier if you're a public school or a school in D.C., a private school, WCAC, IAC, those things a little bit more cut and dry, obviously, when you're not dealing with the points, more of the standings there and what's going on as they go into the playoffs. So let's go ahead right now and run it all down. Everything we've got, going to throw it at you right now here on the final drive. Number 1, Northwest in action tomorrow against Quince Orchard. More on that in just a bit. Number 2, Good Counsel beats O'Connell tonight, 16-14. Falcons clinch the top spot in the WCAC. Number 3, Westfield over Oakton, 38-0. Number 4, Briar Woods falls to Potomac Falls, 8-7. Number 5, Damascus over Wheaton, 41-6. Number 6, Eleanor Roosevelt in action tomorrow against Laurel. Number 7, Douglas at Central also tomorrow. Number 8, Tamatha Idle this week. They take on Carroll next Saturday. Number 9, Gonzaga at McNamara tomorrow. Number 10, Centerville beats Herndon 49-27. Number 11, Bullis over Episcopal, 31-17. Bulldogs clinch the IAC title with a win next week. They already have a share of it. Number 12, Broadneck moves to 9-0, beating Meade 28-25. Number 13, Wise over High Point, 51-0. It was Lake Braddock over number 14, South County, 62-41. Kyle Edwards, 7 touchdowns, and that one for the Bruins, touchdown to 5 passes, 2 runs. Number 15, Hilton over Potomac, 34-0. Number 16, Patriot beat Osborne, 42-19. Number 17, Tuscarora Idle, they take on Briar Woods next week. Number 8, Howard over River Hill, 7-0 to move to 9-0 on the year. Thomas Stone, number 19 in the All-Met Sports Poll, they beat McDonough, 20-0. Elsewhere, Pilati beats Annapolis Area Christian, 34-2. It was Riverdale Baptist over Paul VI Catholic, 21-7, that one last night. Wilson beat Ballou 36-14. Arundel over Chesapeake 42-20. It was Patuxent over Calvert 28-20. Clarksburg beat Magruder 36-3. Glenelg over Longreach 47-6. Hammond over Wild Lake 45-14. Huntingtown over Westlake 24-16. Lackey over Great Mills 35-6. Leonardtown over Choppington 27-14. Marriott's Ridge over Centennial 14-0. Northern beat St. Charles 49-6. Oakland Mills over Mount Hebron 55-28. Old Mill beat North County 59-15. Paint Branch over Sherwood 26-22. Boonesboro over Poolsville 28-19. It was Reservoir over Athelton 53-7. Bethesda Chevy Chase gets their first win of the year, beating Richard Montgomery 28-0. Rockville over Wooten 56-14. Seneca Valley beat Einstein 52-0. It was Severna Park over Northeast 41-0. It was South River over Glen Burnie 35-6. Annapolis beat Southern 40-27. Springbrook over Kennedy 24-6. Watkins Mill over Northwood 47-28. Churchill beat Whitman 41-7. North Point over La Plata 42-0. Over in Virginia, Chantilly beat Robinson 28-9. Dominion over Parkview 35-7. Stonebridge beat Fairfax 41-14. Fauquier over Brentsville 35-0. Hayfield beat Falls Church 42-14. Champ over Heritage 31-14. Loudoun County upsets Loudoun Valley 28-24. Langley edges Madison 21-20. Yorktown over Mount Vernon 28-21. Stonewall Jackson over Osborne Park 10-7. Edison beats Stewart 28-0. Wakefield falls to Washington Lee 21-20. Annandale over West Potomac 31-21. Forest Park over Woodbridge 40-14. And Broad Run beats Woodgrove 37-34. Interesting one there as the Spartans held the ball 10 minutes in the fourth quarter, not letting Woodgrove get a chance for a comeback. As Woodgrove, of course, they're going to be looking for a shot at their district title next week as they play their rival Loudoun Valley. Some action on Thursday. Anacostia over Dunbar 40-32. Eastern top Bell 44-22. Fredericksburg Christian over National Christian 34-16. And Freedom over Woodbridge, they beat Garfield 20-16. Let's go ahead and take that rundown of your games tomorrow. If you want to get out and get a game in, listen to me now. You'll know exactly when they're all going to be played. Start things off at noon tomorrow. Coolidge will be at H.D. Woodson. St. Mary's Riken at Loyola Blakefield. All 1 o'clock starts as Bishop Ireton goes to John Paul the Great. Friendly is at Surrattsville. Georgetown Prep hosts Landon. Randolph-Macon at Potomac School. Walter Johnson at Gaithersburg. T.C. Williams hosts West Springfield. All those 1 p.m. starts. A lot of 2 p.m. starts tomorrow. Blake is at Blair. Oxon Hill hosts Bowie. C.H. Flowers at Duval. St. John's hosts Carroll. Fairmont Heights at Gwynn Park. McNamara hosting Gonzaga. That was a big one for both the Mustangs and the Eagles. Eleanor Roosevelt hosting Laurel. It's Parkdale at Suitland. Crossland hosting Potomac of Maryland. Seed is at Kip. Flint Hill hosting Sidwell Friends. 2:30 start for Douglas as they take on Centerville on the road. Also 2:30 Northwestern hosting Bladensburg. It's Largo at Forestville, also a 2:30 start. 6:30 start, the big one. Number 1 Northwest hosting number 20 Quince Orchard. Probably the Jaguars' best chance to lose one before they get to the playoffs. Also a 7 o'clock start tomorrow as it's Capital Christian hosting Options. A jam-packed show tonight. Want to thank all of our guests we had on the show. Count them 4, all of them from big games. We heard from Bruce Strunk, the head coach of Howard, as his team knocked off River Hill 7-0. Also caught up with Bullis' Pat Cilento as his squad knocked off Episcopal 31-17, put them on the brink of the IAC title. Jim Poythress, head coach of Lake Braddock, his team another big win, shootout style, as they knocked off number 14 South County 62-41. And the biggest upset of them all tonight, it came in Loudoun County as it was Potomac Falls beating number 4 Briar Woods by a count of 8-7. We heard from their head coach, Jason Allen, head coach of the Panthers, after his huge win tonight. That's going to do it for our show. Remember, you can go ahead and listen to us every week here on DMVSTREAM.com, 10:30 to 11:30, or maybe a little longer like today was when we have a jam-packed show with guests. Make sure you tune us in every week. Tell your friends. Let them know. If you want to tweet us, do it at DMVStream. Hashtag it with DMV Final Drive. That's at DMVStream. Hashtag DMV Final Drive. I'm Jeremy Huber, and you've been listening to another edition of The Final Drive. Come back next week, the final week, all around the area when it comes to the regular season. We'll go ahead and catch up on all the big games that's coming up next week on The Final Drive here on DMVStream.com. Good night, everybody.